Hi everyone, this is Board Games Bourbon. I'm Glenn Flaherty again, and I'm still getting over my laryngitis, but hopefully you can understand me. So right now, I'm going to get this off my chest, which is a game I've actually wanted to play for years. It always looked cool to me. I'm always down with the Space Marines theme, and that is Xenoshyft. Onslaught in this case. The great people at Board Game Co. were helping me place an order. I wasn't going to get Dreadmire, but by the time we worked it out, it wasn't in stock, so I got Onslaught. Suffice it, though, they play the same, especially because they took the rules from Dreadmire and retroactively applied it to Onslaught. So either one you get is really going to play the same. The two games are 99% the same. I've played Dreadnought as a digital app, and this is physical version, and it's essentially the same game. Now, in both cases, what it is it is a deck builder. And much like Magic or Star Realms or anything you've ever played before, it's going to be a mix of, in your hand, you have money. In this case, you have ones, threes, and sixes. And you have troops that are weak and they get stronger. You are going to be facing the bad person, in this case, some alien insect hive of people. And if you defeat them, great, you move on to a harder round. You're trying to get through 9 rounds. But if you don't defeat them in any given round, you take damage directly to yourself. And every person who plays the game has 15 damage they can take to try to survive. Now, there's really 2 modes for this game. There's solo, and then there's multiplayer. In the solo mode, you are really witnessing the cinematic story of trying to survive. And I'm not too sure that your decisions are as impactful as is the order that cards come out that you're going to face. But in multiplayer, yes, you're all kind of doing the same thing, but there's an interaction where other people can help you survive so you don't take damage. And they can give you a card, and then that enters your own personal deck of cards that you use in the future. So there's an interplay among the people, and that's where the game and the fun exists. Solo, you don't get that attribute. That quality is also in one of my very, very favorite games, D-Day Dice, which is great solo or multiplayer. Because solo, you can actually just play it as 2 characters. It's very easy to do, and you get that same experience. But down to the brass tacks of what's going on here. So in this game, you have 9 rounds. The 9 rounds are broken up into 3 phases: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In the first phase, you get money cards that are worth 1 point, and you get your option of 2 very weak warriors here. You know, they are a mix of attack and health. All the cards here are a mix of that attribute. Your militia card, the basic one, has 1 health but attacks for 2. The next person has a health of 3 and an attack of 2. And you spend money to buy those cards. Now, it is a little bit on the rail because for the first 3 rounds, you can only spend your money on those 2 cards. Okay? You can also buy equipment and attributes over here. And what they do is they give you more attack, more health, or more defense, okay? More deflection. Sometimes they break rules like letting you attack an enemy instead of simultaneous attacking, which is how the game works. If you survive a round, when you start the next round, you get automatic money. The automatic money almost doesn't feel earned. Maybe it's a reward for simply surviving, but you weren't clever. It wasn't your decision to get that money. You simply get that money. And as the rounds go on, the game automatically upgrades what's in your hand. And what I mean by that is if you get through 1, 2, 3, and you enter round 4, now you get a line of troops that are even stronger. You get people with a health of 3, but an attack of 5. You get people with a health of 4, but they have a power where they can heal somebody. Okay. Also, your money upgrades, and it has a rule that says all your ones, your 1 money in your deck, your weak ones consolidate and become a 3. So there's an auto tightening, increased potency of your hand. Now, that's wonderful, and it might make the game work. And in fact, that might be a rule to make the game work. I don't necessarily feel like it's an earned quality other than if you say surviving is earning. But the enemies you face similarly ratchet up. Okay, so like I said, there's 3 phases, each with 3 rounds. And so in the first round, using the Onslaught, the Dreadmire rules that you apply to Onslaught, you start with 3 cards. And then round 2, you get 4 cards. And then round 3, you get 4 cards, but one of them has to be a boss. Then when you enter the second phase, you draw from a harder deck. And again, it's 3, then 4, then 4 with the boss. And then the final wave, which is even more difficult. And you're just going to do that until you end the game. There is a card over here that's kind of like, an effect, an ongoing events card that says in rounds 1 through 3, you can do this certain manipulation of the game, and the next phase this, and then the last phase you do something else. So these kind of guide you towards what you want to do. So for instance, it says here in wave one on this particular card that I chose, it says once per round, reduce the cost of 1 item card by 1. So what is this saying? Well, it's saying in this round, in the early rounds when you can only get weak militia troops anyway, the emphasis is going to be placed on getting your equipment, okay? So they're being reduced, so that's probably your better investment on your money. So it's guiding you a little bit about what to do. And as the games go on through the phase and you get access finally to the unlocked harder and more potent forces, of course, that's where you're going to invest. And in fact, it even says you can start to strip out your weaker troops and use them to discount the other ones. So it's encouraging you, it's pushing you where to go. But there are some good things about this too. One, I really enjoy the theme. And unlike a lot of deck builders where you might, let's say Superman comes out and there's like 4 different versions of Superman. Okay, well, is that really thematic? How many times does Superman come out in the game? That's one sole individual. 2 things about this feel a little bit more thematic and a little bit more immersive is that these are nameless army men. So you can have many rangers, you can have many militia, and what starts to differentiate them is how you equip them. Am I going to put a flak jacket on that absorbs something? Am I going to have a stimulus pack that I heal them with? Am I going to have a preemptive attack? Am I going to have an instant power I can put down? And that's kind of what you get over here. You have things to heal, things that attack, things that defend, things that deflect. Also true as you unlock these warriors, some will heal other people, some will attack before, some will say, I will take the damage instead of you. And the enemies will sometimes attack the first person in line, the last person in line. Sometimes it'll take your troop and make it their own troop. And that's where I kind of get to saying that the game feels a little bit more cinematic than necessarily decision-driven in the solo experience, because I've played the game incorrectly to my detriment, where I made the game harder than it had to be. And I got pretty far in the game. I think I got to around 8 out of 9. Then I played the game correctly a couple times as well, where I played it correctly in my favor and made it easier, and I didn't get that far. And the difference was the order that the cards came out. And I have no say about what order the cards come out. So I was really just a witness to the deck and how that was going to be playing. Now that fog of war, is kind of the unknown thing that makes survival fun, whether it's Dead of Winter or, Death Angel, another game kind of like this that I like. But in that way, it felt like I really was both on the rails based on who I could get, when I could get them, what my money is, what this events card is telling me what to do, and you just hoped you did the right thing because you don't know what's coming out in the deck. But in the solo play, which I've done less of, but you start helping each other, and then it becomes more like a puzzle game. You're trying, of course, to mitigate. It's more not long-term strategy, but tactical. You're trying to, in the moment, trying to save everyone. And figuring that puzzle out, and those moments of where you're trying to determine, okay, I could save you 1 health, but does it make sense to save this? Maybe I can save you more health in the future. Those are the moments that are really cool and fun, and I think that's where the game is going to shine. Am I glad I played it? Yes, I'm glad I played it. I'm never going to say I didn't have a good time playing it. I can't say it's a robust blow me out of the water thing like Star Realms really thrills me. In that game, of course, you have money, then you can buy whatever you want at any time. So maybe I just want to go ahead and buy that one expensive troop. maybe that's a horrible idea, but let me decide what's going to happen. And I do like that aspect. But I'm glad I played it. Would I pay $60 for this game? I think it feels a little bit older, a little bit too dictated. It's not probably where I would spend my money on that. But I think I got this for $20, and I'm really glad I did. I don't know how many more games I'm going to play. I probably played it about a dozen times before I actually beat the game. And I would probably do it so that I use every event card option in there, and that I got all the different kinds of equipment, because you don't get all the equipment out at the same time. All the troops are always available, but the equipment changes. So I would probably try to get all the variations, because I do like seeing everything that a game has. But again, who knows? With so many other games out there to try, who knows how many more times. Once I get that itch that I defeated a game, that motivation kind of dwindles it. But anyway, that is Xenoshyft. It is on the fun side of just okay, and maybe it feels a little dated, but worth giving a shot. At least the digital one. Check that out. You can get that on Humble Bundle for a discount too. And by the way, since they're called Board Games and Bourbon, when I have a scratchy throat, I like hot things. So maybe it's more like board games and coffee at the moment, but not that coffee is going to have a little bit of a Powers Irish whiskey in there. This was a Christmas gift. Thank you so much. And friends, I can't wait to talk to you soon. I hope you be well. Take care. Bye.